You are now listening to the Devy Boys Dynasty Report. You either win titles or you tank, and some of you aren't good at either.
Welcome to week 2 of the Devy Boys Dynasty Report, week 11 or 12 of our actual fantasy football season. This is your commissioner, Jeff, kicking it off, and I am joined today by my co-host, Gabby, and we actually have a special guest also today in Giancarlo. Gabby, Giancarlo, say something to the people.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be. I was so excited when Jeff offered me to come on board, and I'm just excited to talk about all the craziness that happened this week.
I'm also super pumped. We had kind of hinted and teased at the infamous Giankyknowsfootball on episode 1, so we knew we had to bring him on here on episode 2. So, yeah, let's dive into it.
Yeah, and he's lucky he's even allowed on this podcast because we very much so hate him in this league. The only thing he's good for right now is to give us an extra $25 in the pot, but besides that, he's tanking with pride. Listen, before we get started, let's get into our commissioner's corner. We're just doing a couple updates. First update, only update really is the trade deadline has passed. No trades are allowed. All you losers didn't accept trades. All you losers didn't make trades. All you losers looked at trades in your DMs and didn't even send a backup. Didn't even send revisions. No, you guys were comfortable with your garbage teams. And you know what? Whatever. You were comfortable with your garbage team, so stay with your garbage team. For whatever reason, there's only 3 people trying to win the championship. The other 7 are tanking. So do with that as you may. This is an interesting year, and we'll continue with that. Okay, now let's get into the Devy guys. Listen, guys, what stood out to you from the college football world? General Bacon, Mr. Giankyknowsfootball, give us your takes from this weekend in college football.
I think that maybe my unbiased crazy take this weekend in college football was just the insane comeback that Texas A&M had this week against South Carolina. I don't know if you guys watched any of the game. I tuned in the first half, and oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen Texas A&M look so buns all of this season. We got absolute B2A by them when we played them a few weeks back, and they completely humiliated LSU over in their home turf, and so they really looked like an unstoppable team. But for that first half, they didn't look like how they had looked all season. And I was, starting to question, maybe they were a little hype. I know Gabby has some opinions about their schedule. He is a biased, coping Texas fan, and so
well, your Devy QB that's on your roster, Lenore Sellers,
he did play good
in the
he
first
did play
half.
Good. Unfortunately,
so he seemed to be back on his hype. But what's interesting? Nobody in this league drafted Marcel Reed. He seems to be a little bit of a better QB pick than the 10 that Ruben drafted.
Yeah,
so.
I would say so, 100%. I mean, they scored on practically every single drive on the second half. Defense didn't let South Carolina score a single point that second half. And I mean, that was just an awesome comeback. Any comments, Gabby? I'd love to hear your take on how the Aggies look. I know I know you guys are going to be facing them rivalry week.
Oh man. Yeah, so obviously my hate watch got rudely upended in that second half. I was extremely excited, for our prospects going against them. Granted, we play them at home, whereas last year we played them on the road. So, maybe home field might have something. But from what I saw from my Longhorns against a tried and true SEC team in the Georgia Bulldogs, and what I wish I could unsee is, our season's probably cooked. Probably the more interesting thing that happened was how close, and I'll kind of pivot this over to Jeff, how close the Gators and Ole Miss was, and all of the onion peely layers in that game with Lane Kiffin, who is Mr. #1 pick for everybody. He's a popular kid on the schoolyard. Everybody wants him. So I'll pass that over to you, Jeff. How do you feel about how your Gators did, and how do you feel about Lane Kiffin now?
Well, first things first. I don't know how Texas A&M gets to face all the garbage teams in the SEC. It happens every year. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And the one game that was supposed to be hard in the Longhorns is now a cupcake game, which is ridiculous. But even if they lose that game, they're gonna be in the playoffs. It's asinine. I mean, how do you face every bad team? I just don't get that. I don't get that. And speaking of Ole Miss and the Gators, all right, obviously the Gators are terrible. But I'm about done with Ole Miss fans trying to act like Ole Miss is a better job than the Florida job. Okay. One coach comes in and transforms something that you guys have never been able to do in your entire history. And you want to tell me that that's the program? That's the coach, buddy. And anywhere else that he takes in the SEC, except maybe Arkansas or Vanderbilt, he'll have more money, he'll have more resources, and guess what? He'll have more talent, because who the heck is playing football in Mississippi? Right. No, they're too busy dating their cousins and inbreeding. And in Florida, all the 5 stars come out of where? Texas and Florida. Texas, Florida, and maybe Georgia, okay? So why would he take the Florida job? Why would he take the Louisiana job? Because nobody wants to live in Oxford, Mississippi. Okay, somebody was saying, oh, man, did you know that 4 times the amount of people that live in Oxford were at the game? Yeah, the Gators brought them to the game, because if you watched last week, there was absolutely nobody in the stands. And on top of that, that's not a flex, buddy. Nobody lives in your city. Nobody wants to be in your city. And guess what? Gainesville is not exactly Disney World in Miami either, in Florida, but the university is so prestigious that they built an entire city and community around it. You know what university is not that prestigious?
That's right.
Ole Miss. So the real tree CEO's Nepo baby son can get blocked on Twitter, because I'm done with his ranting. And Lane Kiffin, look, whether you come to Florida or not, we need to put these Ole Miss fans in their place, because clearly Florida is a better program than Ole Miss.
That's right. No, I love that. I love that. I love that. That's right. I love that. In the wise words of Kanye West, I'm not saying that Lane Kiffin is a gold digger, but I know that he's not messing with any broke naysayers. And Ole Miss is definitely a broke naysayer when you compare it to the University of Florida. And that's just a fact. That's just objective.
It's just a fact. And the Gators, we haven't been pretty good at football, but we literally just won the national basketball championship. There's champions at our school. What is Ole Miss a champion at? Inbreeding?
That's right.
Huh? What is Ole Miss a champion at? Lassoing?
Their rivalry trophy is literally an egg. It's an egg. You don't get. You don't get much more bland than that.
Yeah, it is objectively the poorest state also. So, poor Mississippi, they need something. They're clinging on to their head coach, and they even gave him an ultimatum, like if this was some Netflix series. No. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Actually, thank you for reminding me about that. The ultimatum is insane. The guy who transformed your program leads you to the championship, who just wants to worry about his contract at the end of the season, and you're giving him an ultimatum because Twitter trolls on X are gaslighting you into thinking he's going to Florida or LSU.
Now, I will say,
who are you?
I will say Lane Kiffin did appear on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if that was today or a few days ago, and he did say that ultimatum is false. Now, how confident are we that Lane Kiffin is saying the truth? He's really been dodging a lot of these coaching questions. He hasn't said no once. He hasn't flat out said no. I'm staying, and so.
He's capping because On3 reported it. That's like literally the top recruiting page. They wouldn't report it unless they're he's been capping this whole time, bro. Like, he knows where he's going. He's going to the University of Florida. But we'll see what happens with Ole Miss. Looks like they'll be in the playoffs. Mississippi State is a trap game, okay? Everybody's struggling against them, so I don't know why they're so confident, like they didn't almost lose to the 3-6 Gators. So let's hold our horses, because if they lose that game, y'all are going to want to fire Lane Kiffin for not being able to win the Egg Bowl, the literal Egg Bowl. Anyway, that was enough of the Devy dive. Nothing changed from last week much, okay? Lenore Sullis looks a little bit better. Everyone else played about the same. So y'all's dynasty reports are all the same. So let's transition in to boom or doom, okay? Boom or doom. These are the results of last week in our league. Our top scorer was Mulk the Great with 145.78 points. Our second place scorer was Vibe Check with 145.7
Yes, sir.
points. So stay in that silver podium. And our third place was Tyler M. Howe with 144.84. What do we notice? None of the top dogs are at the top this week. And of course, the worst team was me. But when you have 10 players out on injury, all starters, it's hard to win. But we're still projected for the playoffs. Josh Allen went crazy. Christian McCaffrey went crazy. Wait, you started Michael Wilson?
I sure did.
All right.
Come on.
I guess that was a good call. All
Listen,
right.
I'm
and
good.
Trey McBride went crazy in tight end. And then, so the most efficient manager was Leak, but Leak sucked. And now he is tied for last place with Giancarlo. Wow. But he scored 100 more points than Jakey Knows Football, so he's still there. The closest victory was Johnny, who took down Nico Libre, his first loss of the season, and he took him down by less than 1 point. It was a fractional victory, and Johnny Phobes with his garbage team is in place. Wait, no, he's not. He's in 8th place.
I was about to say, wait a second.
Awful.
It was a David versus Goliath and
wow, he actually won. Yeah, I mean, he did it. And Nico's first loss is here, which is probably good for Nico because no one likes that tension of always having to win. Right now, the playoff picture is looking like this. First seed, Nico, Scat Pack. Second seed, Montana. You underestimate my powers. Third place, yours truly, Marvin's Room. Fourth place, Team Moke the Great. Fifth place, Big Penix Energy and Ruben. All of us are tied. 3, 4, and 5 are all 6 and 5. And in sixth place, Vibe Check Team We Suck has snuck in to the playoff positions on a 2-win streak, and he is now in sixth and final place for the playoffs.
We suck at tanking too.
You're no longer getting that first pick.
Can't even tank right.
It's a battle between Darty Party and Team Janky Knows Football. Okay, that was your boom or doom, and now we're getting into this. We're getting into our power rankings. Everybody will share their power rankings, and I will get us kicked off. I believe that not much has changed from last week. I have Giancarlo 10, Darty Party 9. I have Team Johnny Phobes 8. I still have a Team Vibe Check at 7. I have Team Tyler M. Howell at 6. Marvin's Room at 5. Big Penix Energy at 4. Team Moke the Great at 3. Montana at 2. And Nico, Jonathan Taylor was on bye, buddy. You're good. Next week, you'll win by 50. And he remains at the top spot of my power rankings. Giancarlo, give us your power rankings, and then Gabby will finish it off.
Yeah, so it's no secret. Power ranking 10, last place. I mean, I'll be honest. I went into this hopeful. Joe Burrow was my first pick. Got injured pretty early. He's not coming back. I think he's projected back Thanksgiving game. But yeah, it's my team is my team. We've had some ups and downs. My wins, I would say, were definitely surprising. I had one win against Tyler. That was pretty surprising on my end. But I mean, yeah, at this point, I'm really just biding my time, waiting for that first pick. Not sure where my first pick is gonna go. Definitely don't need a QB, depending on whether or not Joe Burrow gets injured again. And so, we're tanking along, as the kids say.
Mm-hmm. All right. You want to give your 9 through 1, or you're just going to talk about yourself being in last place?
I don't know what my 9 through 1 is.
All right. Team Vibe Check. Gabby, what are your power rankings?
Here. I'll kind of skim through this. I'm basically, Janky Knows Football, of course. I'm actually, surprisingly, I'm putting him at 9. I have Darty Party at 10. If you look at Darty Party, he is, he's like me and you, Jeff. He's a big Giants fan. He has a lot of Giants players on his team. Whereas when Jakey, it's more so Joe Burrow's hurt, some other injuries that he had to deal with, and some underperformers early on in the season that look like they're getting some life back in them. Good example is Derrick Henry, who had a pretty good game last week. So I actually have Darty Party at 10, Giankyknowsfootball at 9, and then I'm gonna put myself at 8. Team Tyler Howell at 6. Big Penix 5. No, sorry. You, Marvin's Room at 5 with your atrocious injuries. Holy cow, you are cursed. And then it goes straight into Ruben Chad. I am still putting Montana at 1. I will die on this hill. We'll get into this later on when it comes to our rants about how I was right about the flaws on Nico's team. We'll get into that. But yeah, that's my power rankings.
Okay. All right, then let's do it. Let's get into the open mic. Both these boys rant about something. I've already ranted, so I'll let Janky kick off since he's our guest, and then Gabby will end on his rant.
Yeah, I mean, I am not too upset that none of my trades went through. I went in pretty hopeful. I don't know if you guys touched on this last week, but I had a pretty big brain play trading Derrick Henry for Cam Scatterbo at the time. Unforeseen injury, unfortunately for him, ending his first rookie season pretty prematurely. And like Gabby said, Derrick Henry had a good game last week. Finally, he's pulling in a little bit of his weight. Really, none of these teams, kind of like Gabby said, none of these teams are really very jaw-dropping to me. I feel like everybody's skimming by. We don't really have a big crater between points. I feel like everybody's consistently in the 100s and everybody's pretty close. I think it's just a matter of injuries. I think injuries this season has been a very big part of why we have one person at 10-1, one person at 8-3, and then we just have a sea of average. I think that plays a big part in how this season has been going. I'm excited for us to. I mean, this season can't end faster for me. I'm excited for us to get into our picks. I'm excited for me to have the first pick. I don't know why Leak is over here trying to, outdo my tank, but I think that I don't see myself winning any of my next games. I know. I play Mulk the Great next week and then ongoing. I mean, I'm just cooked, and so I don't see myself winning any of my other games. Probably end 3-11, and just looking forward to my pick.
I feel that it was a bad trade then, horrific trade then. It's not one now. Guess what? Time changes things, and
That's
if
right.
I could ban it again, I would. I would.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, my name is Janky Knows Football, and that's because Janky does know football. And so, unfortunately, commissioners stopped me from having my Giga Chad Ultra 1000 IQ play that probably could have put me in the 6 and 5 category. But it is what it is.
Wouldn't.
I'm not, coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Scatterbo broke his ankle.
Yeah, and he's doing really good on Twitch right now, and he looks primed and ready to go for
And in
next season.
WWE, apparently.
Yeah, and in WWE, and so he would have been a great addition to my team. But at the end of the day, my lines are always open. Nico has my number, and so if he ever wants to talk business and not get bitter, my door's always open to negotiations.
Okay, all right, that's fair. All right, Gabby, end us with your open mic.
All right. So I want to harken back to last week where I specifically mentioned Jonathan Taylor and Scat Pack's team, and he was riding high, undefeated, untouched. And I said, I would be very cautious about relying so heavily on this one player who's obviously done a great job. He has been the player this year. He's come back to how he was probably 2 or 3 years ago where he was the de facto number one pick. He's back in that form. But like I had mentioned before, when you have these running backs, they'll carry you all the way to the playoffs. But then it's those last few games, and they're in contention to, get ready for IRL, for real football in their playoffs. And they sit these players. They do not play. They limit their touches. And I'm telling you, if I am Nico, and I promise you, I'm not punching up. I'm giving a warning. This is out of the goodness of my heart. I would be very nervous going into the playoff season with Bijan, who is now going to be uber targeted with Michael Penix out, and relying on Kirk Cousins, who, God, he is cooked. He is super washed. He and Russell Wilson are just in that super mega washed category. So those two running backs, he's been the scariest team up to this point. But I'll tell you right now, I am more excited about my prospects moving forward against the top team in our league here in the next few weeks than I was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Hey, Nico, why is Gabby obsessed with you and your team?
Listen, I'm giving a warning. I'm giving a warning. You have to spread it out.
I do feel bad for Nico because he drafted CeeDee Lamb so early just for me to have picked the number one receiver in Dallas in like the 7th round in George Pickens. I'm just saying. But hopefully, health to your team, Nico. Health to your team, Montana. Injuries to your team, Ruben. Injuries to your team, Moke the Great. And I just pray that we have a great rest of the season. And with that being said, listen, the 2-minute warning. We are signing off. We are about to end. Remember, trade deadline is over. If you guys want to agree to a trade, it won't go through until after the season. But if you do that, I don't want to hear I take it back later. No, if it's agreed to in any of the next few weeks, it will occur the second that the season is over. And don't you dare tank on purpose, all right? You guys have to start a full lineup, and I don't want to see none of that crap. And Ruben's team, I hope that Drake May stinks this weekend. He won't, because they're probably playing the Apopka High School Falcons with how easy their schedule is. But, we hope the Patriots lose this weekend. That being said, your commissioner is signing off. Any final words from Gabby or Giancarlo?
I'm just excited. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited to see how the rankings change for next week. And I mean, let's just play some good, clean football. And I mean, Jeff, you touched on the purposeful tankings. I keep an eye on some of these teams because I mean, like I said, a lot of these teams are 6-5, 5-6, 4-7, and so a lot of them might start scrambling for that first pick. But at the end of the day, Janky knows football, and Janky knows football.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are in a battle to actually draft Ahmad Hardy from Missouri. That guy's going crazy. All right, Gabby, any final words?
Yeah. It's that time of year. It is ramping up. I will tell you, I've now got my eyes. I'm in playoff contention. I didn't think it was possible, but now, team, we suck. We might surprise you. You never know when Josh Allen might drop another 45. So, I'm dangerous. Keep an eye on me. It's not over till it's over.
The playoffs, anyone can win in the playoffs. Nico's been unbeatable, and he lost to Boo Johnny Phobes. That's right. The libtard himself, Johnny Phobes. So that's right. Anyone is beatable on any given week. And if you sneak into the playoff, you might just win. Thank you. And you've been listening to the Devy Boys Dynasty Report. Your commissioner signing off.